Hello everyone, my name is Michelangelo Toño, and in this video I will show you how to use the rental solution in order to keep your stocks organized. I will basically explain the basics of this solution so that you can have an idea of how to apply it to your business environment. I developed this solution back in 2012, so it's been more than a decade that it has been running and operating successfully among different companies. So to start off with, we pick the rental solution menu, and then, as you can see, you have 5 main features. The first one is the branch configuration. You basically create for each of your branches a new location in which for your available items you will pick the specific warehouse. You can name them accordingly. For instance, I have named this warehouse here available items for Boston. And then for my rented items, I will pick a warehouse called rented items in Boston. And finally, for my returned items, I will pick this warehouse here named returned items in Boston as well. What are the main differences between these three? The available item warehouse is basically the warehouse in which you keep all of your available items. The rented item warehouse is basically your assets that still belong to your company but are not currently available because they are in use by a customer. And this one here is basically all of your items once the contract has come to an end. So once you have finished with the assignment of these 3 main warehouses, you go to the invoice or the account selection. You have 2 main accounts in this solution. One for the billing process and one in case you need to sell one of your products. For the billing process, you must pick for your location one specific account. And for this one here, in case you need to sell the product, again, you need to apply one specific account. And finally, the tax code. You can pick any of the tax codes available in your country. In this case, I'll pick this one here. You click Add, and you have this new branch successfully created into SAP. I have created these ones here, and all of them are using one specific warehouse for the main statuses, as I told you before. Then you move on to the sales process. So once you have finished with the branch definition, you need to start with either a sales quotation or directly create your contract. You have 2 options. I'll start with a selection of my customer, and then you need to select one of the branches you have already created. For instance, in this case, I will pick Boston region. Then you go to the service type. The main ones here are the rental type, sale, shipping, service. I will apply this one here, rental. And then I will pick for my rental service the item that needs to be delivered. For instance, I will pick the office project. You can ignore by now the warehouse because it will pull the information from the definition I had already created for this branch here. In this column here, I will pick the value for 1 month of service. So this 1 month will cost me, for instance, $2,000, or in this case, 2,000 pesos. Then I will add the shipping service twice. One for my delivery and one for my return. In this case, when it comes to shipping, you can pick units because you only bill it once. In this case, when it comes to rental, you have a billing process that, can be applied monthly. But in this case, you can only apply one shipping price, which is paid once. And the same for this one here. You apply only one invoice for this one, only one invoice for this other one, but as many invoices as you need for this one here, because it will go through the rental process that has no end. It can end by the time, the customer requires to be finished. But before that, the process will go on and on for months, even years. I will add my new sales quote. And as you can see, all warehouses have been automatically updated according to the selected branch. If we go back to my branch definition, for my Boston region, I have these 3 main warehouses. And in this case, it picked the available items warehouse. I will add this new document. I can also add some accessories. For instance, you pick here the option of add accessories. In this case, I will add a desk. I'm also adding wooden blinds, office chairs, air conditioning. You can add as many as you wish. For instance, 4 desks, 2 wooden blinds, 4 chairs, and 1 air conditioner. And you must add the prices. I will pick random values here. And you also need to add the account code. I will pick again random values. You update, and once you update the document, it will add this symbol here and also the info line, in which it will explain that for one of the items an accessory bundle was included. Once you have finished with your sale quotation, in case, for instance, the customer requires some kind of a discount, you can still add the discount here. For instance, 5%, and update your document. So, once you have finished with the sales quotation, you can go back to your contract. You select the contract, and if you want to see the base document, it is already closed. So it is no longer available for adding any new items here. And as for the base contract, the main contract, there's still no delivery date, no service date, and it's basically new. What is the next step? You must assign the serial number for the product that was selected for rental. So this product here, which is part of your inventory, you can look it up and see that it's part of your inventory here. you must select one of the serial numbers that are available for the available warehouse. I will pick the serial number 1. For the shipping process, you don't have a serial number. It is only a general service, so you leave it blank, like this, just a blank space. And then you can update. Finally, once the customer has decided to have their items delivered, dispatched, you need to assign the dispatch date, for instance, tomorrow. You need to assign or select the line of the rental item and then create the delivery. But before proceeding, let's have a look at how this looks like. Everything is available by now for each of the main 3 branches. So I will pick yes, yes. So the process was finished successfully, and a new delivery draft has been created. If I execute this report again, now I have 1 less office project available and 11 less accessories available for the Boston region. And when I refresh my document here, there is already a delivery date for my rental office. I can also pick, for this service, the shipping. I will pick the shipping here, and again, tomorrow, I will create this new delivery for my shipping service. And then we can have a look at all of my deliveries today. Deliveries. I have only 2. One for my modular project and all of these accessories, and one for my shipping service. So you go back to your rental contract, and as you can see, only the shipping service has the service date available. For this one here, you need to assign manually the service date. For instance, I can pick a different date, maybe August 29, and I will update my information. So what does it mean? It means that you have a delivery date, the date that your item was taken from your available items warehouse, put into the truck and delivered. And this date here is basically the date the item arrived in the customer site. So you must skip those days. Well, unless you have a contract in which you need to start your service date the same day it was delivered. So it's part of the legal agreement. In this case, I will add 4 days. So I have this new contract for this item that was already delivered, and this service here that is ready to be built. We go back to the Rental Solution menu and pick the Invoice Manager. The Invoice Manager allows you to pick a set of current documents so you can apply a massive billing process to all of them at once. You select the customer as the first option, and then you pick the cutoff date. For instance, the last day of this month. You get the contracts, and here you have the main contract we've been working on for this session. And these two lines, one for the rental service and one for the shipping service. I'll pick both and generate the invoices. But given I have only 2 days, because considering the service date, it is August 29, so I only have 2 days to create my invoice, which doesn't make any sense. I think I'll need to move forward. I'll fast forward to September, the last day of September, and again, get contracts. As you can see here, you have 1 additional month plus 2 proportional days. How does this invoice manager calculate the time span between 2 dates? Well, you go back to the contract, and given there is no last invoice date, it will automatically pick this date here and compare that date with this one here. So it can obtain the number of days between those 2 dates. Between this date here, August 29, and September 30, you have 1 month and 2 days. And that is what you're going to bill. Generate new invoices were successfully generated. We go back to the list of the sales reports and pick the invoices. There is only 1 invoice created so far. And this 1 invoice includes everything from the office, the accessories, and finally the shipping service with the corresponding values. Given it is a draft, you can still create or you can still add some changes. For instance, you can change the values before you create the final document. In this case, I won't make any changes and just cancel this operation. We can fast forward to October, last day of October, and get contracts again. 1 month and 1 proportional day. If I add, for instance, 3 additional days, they will be shown here. So it can accurately calculate the time span between the 2 dates. And if you go back to the contract, you see here there's a new last invoice date value assigned to this column. So in this case, it will calculate between these 2 dates. I will ignore the first service date that will only apply for the first invoice. And again, you can select your contract, generate, go back to the draft list, and you see 2 invoices now. The second one will only include the product plus the accessories. But there's no shipping service because it only applies to the first invoice. So you can go on and keep applying as many invoices as you wish. I will get contracts again. I have only 19 days. Select all. Generate. I'll go back to my draft, and I have 3 now, so you can go on with the process. Once you have finished, you can still go back to the rental contract. You see how this date here has been changing with every new invoice applied to this contract. So now I will pick this one here, the rental service, and the return shipping service. I will pick also the date for my return and create a return. I will then. So the final message here is all inventory transaction has been successfully performed. Okay, a new delivery draft has been created. Okay. So once I update or refresh my document, there is now a return date for these services, and you can go back here, fast forward to the last day of December, get contracts, and have 2 lines again. For this time, I'm going to bill the shipping for my return and also the remaining days for my rental process here. I will generate the invoice, and that's about it. If I go back to my contract, I'll refresh, and as you can see, there is one last invoice date applied for this rental contract. It is no longer in use. This rental contract is now ready to be finished. But before that, we can go back to the rental status, again, execute, and now I have these items in the return warehouse. They are not available by now. So, to make them available again, I will terminate the contract. I will proceed to terminate the contract. I'll refresh the page. The document has been closed. And then I need to manually transfer the stocks from the returned item to the available items again. They need to go through the quality control before they can be available again. How we do that? We basically select the serial number here, and then we can go to inventory, management, details. It is now available, as you can see, in my return items warehouse for the Boston region. So we can assign one of these values. For instance, it is in good condition. We update, so it is in good condition, so they are ready to be available again. We go back to inventory, transactions, transfer. We can use the same transaction that was used first to transfer from the available to the rented. But in this case, we'll do the opposite. So we can say it is now here in the returned items warehouse, and they need to go back to available items in Boston. With the same quantities, we add, and with auto select, this one we had rented before. We update, we add it, we come back here, we execute, and they are now available for the next contract. This is just a basic example of how you can use the solution. You have many different options, but this one here is the most used or the most preferred one. For my second example, I will draw up a new contract, but with no sales quotation first. You create a new one here for the same client, it doesn't matter. I will pick a new area or a new location, and again, my service type will be rental, sale, shipping for my delivery and the return. I will create this, my reference delivery date, today. Again, for the rental process, I will pick months. For the sale, it is a unit, and same for the shipping, units. You can apply a rule so that it can be automatically chosen. I will pick random values. And finally, add the new document. Again, the warehouse was updated according to this branch here. And adding the contract. Okay, once you have finished with the selection of your service types, you must select the product. In this case, this container twice, and the sale of this office project. I will update my document, and for the first one, I will also pick accessories to include, for instance, window and my security alarm. One quantity for each one of them, and the unit price. The account code, again, random values. You must be very careful when it comes to picking your account codes. For this example, I'm just using random ones. This one is done. It added symbol. I will pick the sale. I will also add accessories, but to make it quick, I will only add one accessory, or 10 windows in this case. And update the form. Again, it added a new symbol, and the info line, so that you can be aware of this accessory bundle that was included for this document. So once you are ready, you basically select the items you need to dispatch. I will pick just the first rental option and then this sales option here and one shipping, in this case for my delivery. I will update. I'm adding my date, the current date, and create the delivery. But first, we must assign the serial number. This one, and for the sale, this one here. I pick the lines, 3 different lines. I have my delivery date. I create the delivery. The draft was created. When I update my document, I have one delivery date for these 3 items here. And for this rental here, I can pick a different delivery date. Maybe the end of the month. And I will pick a different service for the delivery. I will update and then deliver. And there you go. So now you have everything delivered and you need to assign one specific date for the service. I will pick the same dates and update. If you have a look at the sales report, again, for my deliveries, for this new contract, I have 2 new deliveries. This one here for the shipping service, plus the sale, plus the rental, and the accessories. The other one was made for the second rental service, plus the shipping service. Let's have a look at the rental status. And for this branch, I have 2 less available for this office container and 2 less accessories available for this branch and 1 less available for this project, office project. In this case, that one you need is gone because it was sold. It is no longer available in your company, which differs from the rental process that items are still available, but in a different warehouse. So once you come back to the main menu, the invoice manager, you pick again the cutoff date. I'll fast forward to the end of this month, September. Get contracts. I have these 5 lines ready to be built. You can still pick the customer. And then you can also select the tolerance days. What is the tolerance days? It is a number that allows you to take these proportional days as just simple days or as part of a new month. If I pick 5 days here and given my cutoff date, I have 1 month and 7 proportional days. These days or this number here is less than these proportional days, which means that it will be considered a new month. If I put 10 days in my text box here, these 7 days will be part of this 1 month here. So it will be only 1 month to be billed and not 2 months. You can set it up to a higher number so you can make sure that this will still be 1 month, unless, of course, you can move forward to, for instance, October, get contracts again, and you will have 14 days. And in this case, you will have 2 months to be paid. But it won't be the case. I will go back to the last day of September. I'll get the contract. I leave it to 10. And then I'll select all. I'll create the invoice. I'll go back to my report here for the invoices. And for the new contract, I will apply this new invoice with every detail. 2 main rental services plus the sales service plus all of the accessories included plus the shipping services with the corresponding values according to the main contract. Again, you can still apply some changes before creating the final document, but this won't be the case. Going back to the invoice manager, another month, another day, getting contracts again. So now I will have only 2 services left to be billed. The sales and the shipping services will only be billed once, but not the rental. With the rental solution, you can go on with the process for each month, generate, I will pick December as the last month again, get contracts, generate, and we are done. I'll refresh the form here, and you see how this column has been updated accordingly. Finally, I'll pick next year, January 39. I'll pick both of the rental processes and create a return. Refresh. Let's refresh this form. You see the return date that has been applied. Going back to my rental solution, invoice manager. Moving forward to January 31, getting contracts, applying the last invoice. These columns have been refreshed, and then I execute this report. They have been returned, and with the same process that I showed you before, they can go back to being available. So, in a nutshell, this is how this solution works from beginning to end, how you can cope with most of the main functionality of any rental solution, and you can also have this solution updated and upgraded in case you need more functionality. So this is all for now. I hope this session was useful for you and you can eventually apply it to your business environment. If you have any questions or if you need to delve into this solution more accurately, you can still go back to your PDF where you can read more information about specific options of this solution. And in case you need to contact me, you can still use the email I have provided for that reason. You can send me all questions anytime and I'll be glad to help. So I hope you all have a nice day. Thank you.